We're in the midst of the Bread of Life discourse found in the 6th chapter of the Gospel of John. We come now to verse 55. Jesus has probably been sending these people that are listening to him almost over the edge as he keeps ramping up the really drama of what he's saying. He said to them that unless a person eats his flesh and drinks his blood, they won't have life in them. If they do eat his flesh and drink his blood, then he will raise them up in the last day, speaking, of course, of the great event of resurrection that takes place at the end of human history. All of this, I suppose, was completely mystifying to the people who heard Jesus saying it. It sounded like outright cannibalism, and the sacramental aspects of it were probably largely lost on them, unless they were possibly thinking about the Paschal lamb who was indeed eaten. The lamb was sacrificed in the Passover celebration. The lamb was eaten, and in some way or other, some insightful people might have actually put that together, but I imagine for most of them this was not something that they really quite understood. And Jesus just keeps pressing the point home as he continues in verse 55. Hey, this is the feminine article, a feminine singular nominative. For is the next word, postpositive, for the, and then sarx, the word for flesh. This is the feminine nominative form of it. So the flesh, mu, of me, the flesh of me, aletheis. This is the adjective. It means true. It is feminine in this case, of course, because it's going with a feminine noun over here, brosis, which means meat, generally taken that way. So the flesh of me, true, is meat, or is truly meat, or is indeed meat, that idea. So this is the true meat, in other words. This is the true food that people need. We need food to sustain ourselves physically. Man doesn't live, however, by bread alone. There's another kind of bread that we need that feeds the inner reality of who we are, and that's, of course, what Jesus has in mind here. My flesh is truly meat for the heart of what we are in our humanity, kai, and to, the article, once again, neuter in this case, to haima, the blood, mu, the blood of me, aletheis, same word as here, also going with the feminine noun, and the blood of me truly is drink. This posis word, translated drink or something that you would drink, is actually derived from the verb we've looked at earlier, pino, which means I drink. This is a nominative or a noun form of it that we have here. So my flesh is the true food that you need. My blood is the true drink that you need. Again, there's certainly a strong sacramental aspect to this that's at least implied rather distinctly by it, if not being stated outright. It does describe, of course, life in the community of faith in which there is true faith. And in that faith, we in obedience participate in a Eucharistic meal, and we indeed speak of it in the very terms that Jesus is describing here, that this is the eating of his flesh and the drinking of his blood. It's understandable that those people who first heard it might not quite have assembled the whole picture of what was coming, but nevertheless, these were words that would ring true and come back to the memory of those who heard it at a later time. And thus the record of it here in John's account of the Bread of Life discourse is certainly appropriate and helpful as we reflect on it, even as we understand that the original hearers may have been a little bit puzzled by what they were hearing.